Well, hey there. Welcome back to the People Gardener podcast. Happy to have you here this week. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to chat with you about emotional intelligence. Now, caveat, time out here. I am not an emotional intelligence expert. I had Theresa Quinlan on my podcast. Definitely check out her two episodes. It's episode 29 and episode 85. Go to rhondadelaney.com/episode 29 or episode 85. She has lots of wonderful information. She's mainly on LinkedIn. So if you're a user of LinkedIn, then get in there and have a look for her, and you'll get more of her content. The interesting thing about episode 85 is she talks about using the emotional intelligence, the behaviors that you want to attract in your job postings. So using your understanding of who are the people that I want to come in? What are the attributes that they have? What are the behaviors that they exhibit? What are the behaviors that we really want? Anyway, I digress. But it's really a great episode for you to get in and really learn some valuable things about emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, it's a word that you've probably come across. And for the most part, I'm giving you layman language, right? I'm not into the heavy academia or neuroscience, any of those kinds of things. Taking 100% ownership and responsibility for how you operate, how you talk, how you feel, how you look at the world, how you respond to the world around you, to the events that are happening. And I guess it's just this awareness of yourself and who you are. And sometimes who we are in reality isn't who we want to be. Interesting statistics I ran about when I was doing some research on this. Tasha Urich said that 95% of people think they are self-aware, but only 10 to 15% actually are. So the big question is, which camp are you in? Almost clueless or totally clueless about yourself and how you conduct yourself and how others see you? I think I've mentioned this in a podcast before. I was taking a program, and one of the things that we had to do was send a letter to 20 people. It was an email to 20 people that were in our family, people that we worked with, people that were neighbors, people that were maybe in organizations or groups that we belonged to. We had to pick 20 of them, and we had to send them this letter asking them to give feedback on how they experienced me as a person. So they all had me in their life in different roles, right? Some daughter, a cousin, a sister, others a boss, others a direct report, others the neighbor across the fence. So they experienced all different sides of me. It was the most fraught with anxiety experience because I had in my head who I believed I was, who I thought I was. We're getting into this self-awareness. I thought I was aware of myself. And then I started getting these back. There were some things that surprised me, but I was really heartened to know that what I felt I wanted people to receive from me, they actually were receiving. There were some things that I wouldn't necessarily call them negative, but they were just things that weren't on my radar. I hadn't even considered. This is something that you can do. as a business leader, as a business owner, is touch base with your people. Get that 360-degree feedback. Get it from your family. Get it from your neighbors. Get it from your teammates who, you might be on a pickup league of basketball or hockey or something like that. Find out how people are experiencing you as part of this learning and self-awareness that you are going to take this journey on. Writing down all the different emotions that come to you throughout the day and noting the scenarios, noting what's happening and how am I feeling about it. The more often you can do that, to just pause for a moment and take a breath and ask yourself the question, okay, what am I feeling right now? What does this feel like? Becoming aware of how you're responding and or reacting to people, to situations, to information. The more that you understand what your default is, the easier it's going to be for you to change that default. If in fact that default needs to be changed, default might be completely fine. But if you don't understand yourself, if you're unaware of yourself and who you are and how you operate, how you show up, it's really difficult to make any changes because you're not going to have a clue what to change. Really encourage you to get in there and talk to people and have them share with you how they experience you as a person. And another interesting statistic was that a team's success could be cut in half because of low emotional intelligence. Now, self-awareness is only one of the 4 areas. We'll get into the other ones in weeks to come. But really understanding yourself. I have put in the Be Interested app, self-awareness questionnaire, something to sit down. So get onto the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and download the Be Interested app. It's completely free. There's lots of free content on there. And in the workbooks section, there is one that is self-awareness questionnaire. Start asking yourself questions. Go back to the app, Be Interested. Be interested in yourself. Be interested in who you are. You don't need to feel bad. You don't need to feel anything other than curious about, okay, who am I? What do I think? What do I value? Where do I think this should go? Or what direction do I think I should take? But just understanding it and being curious about those thoughts and those feelings that are going on inside your head and inside your heart. Getting curious about how others see us, how others are responding to us. Because one of the realities of being a leader is disseminating information. And if you understand that each person takes in information in their own unique way, being self-aware of changing up how you're giving that information out is going to benefit everybody in the long run, because you're going to have people that have received that information because you have been aware of how you need to give it to them in order for them to hear it. Does that make sense? Okay. It doesn't mean that you have to change who you are. It doesn't mean you have to change where you stand or what you value. It just simply means the mechanism that you're using to disseminate may be different for each person, and that's perfectly fine. That is being self-aware and knowing that your kind of default way of giving the information, it may not work for everyone. And I absolutely experienced this in corporate when I took over the sales manager position. Oh, I am not a writer. I am a talker. And I do much better when people can see my body language. They can see my hand gestures, my facial expressions. They can see the heart of what it is that I'm sharing. So the starkness of the text in an email, it was really intimidating. And for the first couple of years, I put a lot of my thoughts down in paper and moved it on to my boss and say, hey, have a look at this. Is this too direct? Because my default is what is the straightest line from point A to point B? And I'm not doing a bunch of dipsy doodle and then whatnot in between. That doesn't work for everyone. Some people need the meander because they need to work and process through it as you're giving the information. Other people, they're with you. They're right on point. The speed and cadence and all the rest of it is fine. Being aware of how you are and how you communicate and what it is that you're trying to accomplish, it's really important because that is the point at which you are going to learn and understand all of the ways you need to grow. And yes, you need to grow, you need to change, you need to become more aware. And it's a beautiful thing. That's part of leadership. It's part of learning how to build this incredible team of people by making sure that you are able to meet their needs and that you grow yourself as a leader. Definitely check out those two podcasts that I mentioned before. RhondaDelaney.com, episode 29 and episode 85. Theresa Quinlan is her name. Did a masterful job. This is her shtick, so you'll get all sorts of information there. And then the Be Interested app. Get in there. There's so much fabulous free information, and everything is bite size. You'll note these podcasts, maybe 15, 17 minutes long. It's designed to give you a bit. Now go and do a bit. So each week, grow, become more self-aware this week. I challenge all of you to have a piece of paper on your desk or on your phone, whatever you feel. I'm old school. I like pen and paper. Other people want to, have it on their computer or on their phone. Challenge yourself to ask yourself multiple times a day, okay, how am I feeling? How did I feel about that conversation? Where do I think that conversation is going? Am I comfortable with that? Does that align? Figure out how you are thinking and how you're being, and it absolutely will help you when it comes to working with your people. So that's it for this week. We'll talk to you again next week.